Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, and today I've got a bit of a news roundup for you guys. There have been several changes that DICE have either already made to Season 5 as it is, or will be making in Update 5.1 and beyond, that have probably gone under your radar since they've only really been shared, to be honest with you, on Twitter and Discord, and maybe some of those places you may not be familiar with, especially with the Battlefield subreddits being down at the moment in protest, but that's another matter altogether. So I'm going to fill you guys in on all of the latest. But before we begin, as always, if you do enjoy the content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We are on our way to 50,000 subscribers. That is the goal at the moment. I'm really excited to see how fast we can get there, so any help you guys can give me in that regard would be very much appreciated. Okay, so let's kick things off with the breakthrough vehicle changes. So if you've been wondering where all the vehicles went on reclaimed breakthrough, DICE put out this tweet yesterday saying, "Today we've made a change to vehicle counts on breakthrough based on your early feedback regarding vehicle balancing. Going forward, aircraft have been removed from both sides and will now only be available for the attacking side during Sector B." So as you guys will most likely be able to tell from my footage, I'm not really much of a breakthrough guy. I prefer the mixed vehicle and infantry play of Conquest, and especially in Battlefield 2042, breakthrough has become synonymous with a lack of vehicles, air vehicles especially. You know, I can't understand why the air vehicles aren't in most of the maps. Having these very powerful vehicles for only the attacking team can very easily tip the odds in their favor, especially if you have a great pilot. But I do have to admit, after a long drought of having no air vehicles in breakthrough, I was enjoying the experience of having one single attack heli on the new breakthrough map, since this hasn't been an experience we've been able to enjoy for a long time. So it is a shame for me at least to see it go, but it will be available on the B sector for the attacking side. So what that means is that if you can stay alive in there after the B sector is captured, you can actually hold on to that helicopter for the remainder of the match. Okay, next up, it looks like DICE have heard our feedback and realised that the 20mm Flak Cannon on the LETV is a little bit too strong, and that may also tie into part of the reasoning why they've removed the helis in breakthrough. So if you guys have been on the receiving end of this Flak Cannon, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It gives you very little time to react, the hit sound seems to be bugged, and the explosion of the flak knocks your aim off-center, which makes countering this vehicle almost impossible. But a bunch of us have been talking to Eddie, one of the vehicle designers over at DICE, and based on what he has had to say, they are looking into making some changes. So here he's replying to Reaps. He's a well-known streamer, and he says here the 20mm has been looked at. It should be better with the next update or the one after, not sure which. So I guess they've made some changes to it, but they're simply not sure which update it'll make its way into. Now, interestingly, he also agrees that the TOR, or the railgun tank, is too strong against aircraft. You know, it can one-shot across the map with ease, so yeah, I would agree with that as well. And then he goes on in reply to Ash here, agreeing with him that the impulse of the Flak Cannon is too high. So it causes you to flinch so hard that you really don't have any chance to shoot back. And apparently it will be significantly less within the next update, along with some other changes. So no solid details on exactly, you know, how they're balancing this and numbers, but I assume once we get our hands on the update patch notes, we will learn that, and I will of course bring it here to you guys on the channel. So don't forget to subscribe. Alright, before we continue, let's take a new look at the new weekly missions, the skins, and the game modes available this week. So starting off with the shop here, there's actually a new bundle with a sort of purple pinky theme to it. So we've got the Iconoclast skin for the F-35. I think this one actually looks really cool. Then there's the Wild Style skin for the DM7, the Vandal skin for the Condor, the Hand Cannon Weapon Charm, and the tagged skin for the Super Hind. You guys know me, I'm not really much of a skin guy, but that F-35 one, yeah, I might be having to save up some coins from the Battle Pass and get my hands on that one. So moving over to the weekly missions, on Tier 1 we have 10 kills and assists spawn on a squad mate or have a squad mate spawn on you 5 times, and then 1 round played on Reclaimed. For tier 2, we've got 6 objective ribbons earned, 12 kills with SMGs, assault rifles or LMGs, and then 250 damage inflicted to vehicles. For tier 3, you have to inflict 1500 damage with grenades, get 25 kills from a distance of 75 meters or more. So with the assault rifle dispersion nerfs, you may want to look to a DMR for that one possibly, and then win 5 rounds. And then finally for the bonus, it's 8 objectives captured or neutralized on Reclaimed. So a pretty easy week all in all, mostly just, play the game, hit up some Reclaimed, and you should bang all of these out in no time. For the weekly game modes, we are still rocking Reclaimed Conquest, but Breakthrough has now changed back to Seasons Breakthrough again. And then in Portal, we have the Battlefield World Tour and Assault Rifle Rush, which is a fast-paced rush mode with assault rifles that have faster projectile speeds. Now to cap things off here, let's talk a little bit about console crossplay, controllers, and some possible changes that could be coming for that in the future. So the Battlefield Bulletin Twitter account put this out the other day, saying following yesterday's statement on how DICE is looking at ways to ensure console players can matchmake more often with other console players, community manager Kevin Johnson has pointed out that the team is also working on future improvements to Aim Assist. Now, console crossplay and crossplay in general has been in debate since Battlefield 2042 launched. On the one hand, if you don't enable crossplay as a console user, you can have difficulties finding a game, but on the other hand, if you do enable it, a lot of people who use controllers, and really we shouldn't call it console crossplay, we should be talking about controller users and mouse and keyboard users. I don't really think the platform matters, it's kind of irrelevant, but a lot of controller users, let's say, do not like to be matched up against mouse and keyboard users. So they say here, we've stated the following: we currently have no plans to have console crossplay off by default. It is our intent that all players should feel encouraged to play with all platforms and be able to find friends and experience Battlefield 2042 with all players. But more importantly, they should feel as though they're able to compete against all platforms. Now, I do agree with that. I think it's great that in this day and age, whether you play on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, whatever it is, if you've got a friend that plays the game, you're able to squad up with them and play the game with them. That wasn't the case when I was a kid, so, it is cool that we now have the technology to be able to do that, but obviously it's created some other problems along with it. So they say we've been looking at changes to improve that, we'll continue to look at it. We have been making changes to ensure Battlefield 2042 becomes fairer when it comes to using a controller, through stuff like uniform soldier aiming, aim down sight, field of view alterations, and in the future, improvements to how Aim Assist functions. We will also be looking at ways to ensure console players matchmake with other console players more during the matchmaking process, as we hear individuals stating that they feel that this isn't happening. We haven't landed on things fully with this yet, but once we do, we will relay that through our own channels. So there are several tweaks and changes that they have been making in-game. As they mentioned, uniform soldier aiming, the aim down sight field of view being default on now as it used to be off. And it's also true that controllers, believe it or not, have less recoil. I think it's 20 or 25% less recoil that controllers experience across the board compared to mouse and keyboard players. But they specifically mentioned here that they're going to make improvements to how Aim Assist functions. I'm not going to pretend to really know how controllers work in Battlefield 2042 because I've never used one before, so I don't really know how the Aim Assist is, but it's always been apparent to me that at the moment it feels like it's in a pretty okay position. However, the consensus at the moment with Call of Duty seems to be that if you're not playing with a controller, you're at a major disadvantage. The Aim Assist sounds like it's so powerful in that game that if you're a mouse and keyboard player, you don't really have much of a chance. So as you can imagine, people are kicking up a fuss about this news. Some people are just like, no, not more Aim Assist, don't do it, DICE, whilst a lot of controller players are all for that. Where do I stand on this? Personally, I'm going to come right out and say it, I just don't even know. Like I say, I don't use a controller, I use mouse and keyboard, so I can't really, with a good conscience comment on this subject and say, yes, I think the aim assist that's in the game is already enough or it's not enough. Perhaps I should plug in a controller and actually give it a try myself and see how I can play with a controller. That might actually make for an interesting video. But, you know, I'm not just going to sit here and tell you guys that the aim assist is great and that the controller experience is great in the game without actually having tested it for myself. So I am going to leave it up to you guys. Let me know down below in the comments, are you a mouse and keyboard player, are you a controller player, or have you experimented with using both? And what is your experience with aim assist, you know, snapping onto targets, slowdown, and all the little facets of aim assist in Battlefield 2042? But with that said, that is going to do it for this one, guys. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more Battlefield, and as always, thank you for spending some of your hard-earned time with me here today. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.